There are an awful lot of planets in Leo, which tends to make everybody want to play. And there's an opposition between Venus and Uranus today, so that might have something to do with sort of wanting to do things that are a little shocking, kind of like April Fools.
Oh, good. I like that day, too. If you have a question for Mary Michele, 241-1310, the number to call. And we have an open line now. Let's get to Arvy, A-R-V-Y, November 17th, 1962, from Cortland Manor. Good morning. You're watching TV.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? You're on with Mary Michele.
Did you have a particular question?
Oh, no, I'm just, wondering what might be in my future.
Okay. Well, you have the sun in Scorpio and the moon in Leo, so you're having a sense of all of this, all these planets in Leo. As I've said about the moon, it's the daily routines. This is a hard angle between the sun and the moon, so there is the tendency sometimes for you to get a little confused between your conscious self and your unconscious self. And when the moon in Leo wants to be brought up to the surface, you might feel a little agitated. So it might be fun, but it might be a little agitating. You have Mercury in Scorpio, you have Venus in Scorpio, you have Mars in Leo. There's a Moon-Mars conjunction. Now this aspect, the tendency is that there might be some problems sometimes with the female of the species. Do you sometimes have issues with your female friends or your mother or something like that?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Well, you've learned how to use it then, because whenever there's Mars is the planet of energy and aggression, and the moon is the mother. So when they're in the same place in the sky, sometimes there's the tendency to want to be a little too aggressive with the feminine. So that's good if you've learned how to work that through. Let's see. You have Saturn in the sign of Aquarius, which is opposing all of those planets in Leo. Saturn is where we learn how to work really hard. Do you work with, or have you ever worked in community groups?
What kind of community group?
Well, something that would probably be not terribly lucrative. You wouldn't be making, money at this. It would be something that you would do more as kind of a volunteer situation or charity, or I mean, you might occasionally make money at it, but it's something that you are perhaps drawn to, although you may not like it.
No, I've never worked with community groups.
No? Okay. Do you have a particular profession?
No, I'm just a mother.
You're a mother, okay. That's a profession, yes, exactly. That's a very busy, profession, I think.
Well, when you do it alone, that's when it gets busy.
Is that how you do it? You do it alone?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, was there something in particular? I mean, was there a question about any of your children or any of your relationships or anything like that?
There's one question. My ex-husband now, he has a girlfriend, which I'm wondering if they will actually go through with their wedding.
Uh-huh. That's a little hard to say. I think regardless of the situation, this is not going to be something that is, whether he gets married to her or whether he doesn't, this is not something that's going to be, I don't think it'll make it any easier for you.
Right.
So I can only look at it from your point of view, and it doesn't, I don't think it'll get any worse if he gets married. I just don't think that the situation is going to make it any easier. Coming back to this, sun-moon square that you have, there's this tendency with other women, for it to be not that easy. But anyway, you'll work it out. You seem to have a very good attitude. So thanks very much for calling.
Okay, thank you, Arvy. And we do have an open line now, 241-1310. Let's get to Millie, who is listening from the town of Bedford. Date of birth is November 27th, 1925. Good morning, Millie.
Morning.
You're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning, Millie.
Yes, I'm concerned about my health. I have a little problem with my stomach. Could you tell me if it's going to get any better?
Okay. November 27th. 1925. Well, you have the sun in Sagittarius. You have the moon in Taurus. Mercury in Sag, Venus in Capricorn. I don't see any strong indications in the area of the stomach here. A little further down, perhaps.
I had problems there, too.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that throughout the month of August, there's perhaps going to be a bit of inflammation. Is it inflamed? Is there something?
The stomach and polyps.
Yeah. I think throughout the month of August there's going to be a little bit of that tendency. It doesn't mean that it has to happen that way, but there is that possibility. Certainly by the 22nd of August, it should start to feel a whole lot better. It could feel better starting already, but by then it'll feel a lot better. Let me see.
Also concerned about my husband. He has problems with his legs.
Uh-huh. Well, being the Sagittarius that you are and having Mercury there as well, I think you're someone that has to inspire him quite a bit. You have to figure out ways to have conversations and come up with new ideas and new ways of entertaining yourself and him. In terms of his legs, I can't really see that. I have to do a detailed chart for that, and I can't really see it. But I think that you are someone that can help him feel a whole lot better about if he is confined at all or if he's just having trouble walking around and so on. Find new ways. Get him a new cane. Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you for calling. We're going to get to Diane, who is waiting on line 3, and Candy on line 1. I have a question. I think we've talked about this once before. You had mentioned Sag here and this there. Planets control different parts of the body. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Could you quickly run through which ones are which, or is that?
Well, yes, vaguely. I can do it vaguely. I'm not really all that up on medical astrology, but if you think of Aries as being the first sign, it starts at the head. Aries rules the head, okay, and then it goes down. Taurus, which is the next sign, rules the throat. Gemini rules the arms, the nervous system, and partially the lungs. Cancer rules the solar plexus, the breasts. Leo rules the heart and the spinal column. Let's see, Leo. Virgo. Virgo is nervous system again, and very much the stomach. Virgos are the ones that tend to get ulcers more than anyone else.
Oh, okay.
Then we have
Saved
Libra.
on that one.
Libra is, I think, the lungs. Scorpio are the sex organs. Sagittarius are the upper legs. Capricorn are the knees and the skeletal structure, the bones, the teeth, anything, the skin, anything that holds you together is Capricorn.
Okay.
Aquarius are the thighs, the lower part of the leg, and Pisces are the feet.
Okay. You see, I asked the question. I got the answer. It's 9:16 at WVIP. We're talking to Mary Michele. We have an open line, 241-1310. We will get to Diane momentarily and to Candy right after that. Please stay on the line. 9:16, back in 1 minute.
There's a lot of great shows on cable, but what I want to know is how can I find out what's really worth watching?
On cable.
Of course on cable. That's what I'm talking about. How do I find the best stuff on cable?
That's where.
What's where?
On cable from E! Entertainment Television. Every week you'll see previews of the best movies, sports, specials, documentaries.
On cable?
Sure. They'll even tell you how to find shows the whole family can watch together without blindfolding the kids.
They'll tell me on cable?
Certainly.
But what's the name of the show?
On cable.
So, if I want to find out what's on cable, I have to watch on cable.
Now, that's the first thing you've said that makes any sense.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
And to order, call Cablevision of Yorktown, 962-4444.
I get it. The name of the show is On Cable.
Right. It's the show to watch before you watch.
Oh, wait a minute. I should watch the show before I watch?
Naturally.
I'm going to take up baseball.
And welcome back to Meet the VIPs. Mike Cernoff with you, and our guest is always on Friday morning, Mary Michele. And we have an open line at 241-1310. Let's say good morning to Diane, watching on Cable Channel 12 in Mount Kisco.
Good morning, Diane.
Good morning.
Your birthday is December 19th, 1929?
Right.
Right. Is there a particular question?
Yes, we spoke last week, and I told you that I had a contract on my house, and I was all ready to go. And now, because of some very ill-fated, unfortunate things, I've lost my contract, and I'm looking at now what? I held my house held up for 2.5 months.
Oh.
Now what?
Now what? Now let me get this straight. Your house did not go to contract.
It was.
I'm sorry?
Fact, but very unfortunate circumstances.
And where you're moving to? What about that?
No, I lost the one I bought up there, too, because I couldn't sign a contract with them. But that's okay. I'm fine with them.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, certainly at the moment there's a lot of favorable stuff going on for you. You know, you've got a fire, the sun in Sagittarius in fire, the moon in Leo in fire.
I just want good things to happen at this point.
I'm sorry?
I just want good things to happen at this point.
Well, it's a favorable time. You know, I think probably this happened for the best of all possible worlds. You know, there was kind of a good reason why this happened. I don't know. Has the house gone back on the market? Have you?
Oh yes. As of 15 minutes after I found out that there was some very sad news, and the person that was going to buy my house couldn't buy it.
Oh.
He had very unfortunate things happen to him.
Right.
So.
Well, you know, but if the house is going to be back on the market, I think that the chances are that it will happen again, if that's what you really want to have happen.
I mean...
Is it giving you cause to rethink?
No.
Yeah.
I'm just very upset, and I was just wondering, do you see anything good coming up?
I see this as being a very positive time. I mean, the only difficulty is this, you have Mercury in Capricorn, and the tendency with, and Saturn, and the tendency with that is to perhaps be a little slow and not want this kind of change to happen to you. So you're bucking the change. I know it's never pleasant to have that kind of a thing happen, but in general, you're someone that bounces back pretty quickly. And I truly think that these things usually happen for a reason of some sort. So I think you should think about it a little bit more, exactly what this move means to you and where you're going with it and all that kind of thing. But I think the minute that you decide to really push to sell the house again, if that's your choice...
I'm doing it now.
It will happen. You don't have to... I think it will definitely work for you.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
We do thank you for calling, Diane.
Thank you.
I tell you, I had my house on the market for 6 weeks in Kisco. It sold. So, I mean, there's hope on the horizon.
Exactly.
Okay, we're talking to Candy now from Mohegan Lake. Good morning, Candy. Date of birth, April 13th, 1961. And again, we do have an open line, 241-1310, the number to call. You'll be able to talk to Mary Michele. Candy, good morning to you.
Morning.
Good morning,
Okay, you're on with
Cindy.
Mary Michele.
April 13th, 1961. Was there a particular question?
I have a couple. I have one from my sister. She was born 9/8/68. She's wondering if her wedding's going to go through or not.
Well, I think we should deal with you first, okay? Is there one about you?
Well, there's one about me, about my daughter.
Okay. Let's see. You have a lot of Aries. You have the sun in Aries. You were born at the new moon. You have tremendous focus. You can definitely start projects and decide where you're going and follow through on it. The tendency with a woman with all of the planets in Aries is that you might, the tradition is not for a woman to be that aggressive. So you might have been raised with certain of those attributes being, pushed under the carpet and not allowed to acknowledge your own natural ability to start new things. I'm sorry?
Being done to me now.
It is. Is this something that's being done by a member of the family?
Yes.
What was the problem with your daughter?
She's very depressed right now these last 2 days.
She has been very depressed. Uh-huh. Well,
She's 328.79.
okay. 328.79.
While you're looking there, we do have one other open line, 241-1310. To Linda, who's holding on line 2, please continue to hold.
Is your daughter physically active? Does she get outside and do things and so on? Hello?
Yes, she does.
She does. Well, I know that it's been tough recently, because it's been so hot to be terribly physically active. Could this have, I know it sounds rather simplistic, but could this have something to do with her depression?
No, it has something to do about her horse and stuff.
Right. Right, but I mean, it's not a good time for horses either.
Right, but she goes out, she bathes them, she goes swimming, she does things. The horses would just move from Mayapack to Stormville, past Stormville.
Uh-huh. Well,
moving.
I think that I think this is going to pass. I think by the middle of next week there will be a big shift, and she will, definitely work out whatever it is she needs to work out with the horse. But I don't think that there's a reason for her to feel that frustrated right now.
All right.
So I don't have an easy answer for you here. I think that's not all I have time for. I'm sorry. But thank you for calling.
Okay.
Okay, Mary Michele, can we take a look at September 8th, 1968? She had asked the question about her sister, would that wedding actually go through? So
68.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is September 8th, 1968. To Linda and to Wilma, please keep holding. We will get to you momentarily. And for Candy, we're trying to find out if your sister's going to get married.
Okay. September 8th, 1968. This is a person that is very good with people, is a very good partner, and should be married, and would work well with people. I kind of would have to see the chart of the husband and also the day that they're planning to get married. But I would say that in general, this is a person that, as long as she's resolved some of her issues regarding the moon, there's again this Aries element where she might sometimes be a little more masculine. But all of the Libra planets indicate that she is someone that will work well in a relationship. So.
Okay. So it looks like she is going to get married.
I would think, yeah.
All right, we're at 9:25 at WVIP talking to Mary Michele, your astrologer here at WVIP. We have one open line at 241-1310. Linda and to Wilma, we will get to you both in 1 minute. A hurricane has hit Playland, and it's a new high-thrill roller coaster sensation that's taken the amusement park by storm. Playland's 45 rides are open for summer fun Tuesday through Sundays at 12 noon. Riding has never been this exciting with the new go-karts, the Wild Log Flume and Mighty Dragon Coaster. And there's a great kiddie land with the new Up, Up, and Away, too. Free entertainment features daily news, spectacular fireworks, Wednesdays at 9:30, song and dance, a flashback and Branson night show afternoons and evenings, and puppet theaters for the kids. Playland is open Tuesday through Sunday at 12 noon, closed Monday. Admission and entertainment are always free. Take Interstate 95 to Playland Parkway exit 19 in Rye. All right, you have an opportunity to talk to Mary Michele. We have one open line at 241-1310. Good morning, Mary Michele, and good morning now to Linda, watching on Cable Channel 12 in Yorktown Heights. You're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Linda.
I'm currently involved in some discussions on a project I'm working on, and I guess my question is whether you foresee a favorable end result with it, or perhaps some problems along the way.
Is this a work project?
Yes, it is.
Okay, you have the sun in Leo and the moon in Libra. Mercury in Cancer, Venus in Leo. Is this something that should be resolved this month or the month of August?
With any kind of luck.
Yes. Well, there's a good indication with issues surrounding money for you during the month of August. Are the natures of the discussions about money?
Aspect of it is, yes.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is that you have to stick up for the areas in which you, not just the money issues, you have to stick up for yourself in the areas that are important to you in the work that you will be doing so that the work means something to you. But I think that in terms of being able to have the money issues resolved, as long as you look after the first part, the second will come. Mars, which is the aggressive sign or planet, is in the sign of Taurus in your chart, and it's not very harmonious with all these Leo planets. So it's not a good time for you to be too terribly demanding in terms of the money, but I think that as long as you approach it from the point of view of, well, this is the stuff that I really need, and what kind of work is it?
It's more it's an administrative project that I'm working on.
Right. But even in administrative, it could be the issues in which, the ways in which you would like to administrate that might be, issues in terms of the kind of way that you're talking to people. You want to come up with new ideas with the people that you're asking for the money, new ideas that make the money interesting to them.
Right,
so,
because it's a top priority with me, that over and above the money issue.
Right. Right. Well, I think as long as you focus on that part.
Okay.
Okay? The money will come.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's get to Wilma calling from Somers. Good morning, Wilma. You're watching on Channel 12, I think. March 16th, 1936. You're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning, Mary.
Good morning. Did you have a particular question?
Oh, just in general.
A general question. March 16th. Okay, you have the sun in Pisces and the moon in Capricorn, which is quite harmonious. Mercury in Pisces, Venus in Aquarius. All of this Pisces stuff, you have Saturn in Pisces, there's a lot going on here in terms of the planet Saturn, which has been going over your sun and Mercury and Saturn itself for about a year and a half now, which is really quite debilitating in the sense that it will subjugate your will. You have to work harder for things than you had worked before, and then it will pass, though. It will pass within the next 6 months. It's kind of a very general trend, but it will give this general feeling of malaise, that feeling of, why can't I get what I need, and Pisces in general is a sign that isn't too demanding for what they need. They tend to merge and think of others' needs. So, and you have a lot of Pisces in your chart, so it's not just the sun. But it's going to pass. The worst, actually, it's peaked. The worst of it's over. So this sense of feeling a little sublimated by other people's wills is moving on now. Was there something in particular that you had a question about?
Health-wise.
I'm sorry?
What health?
Health. I think that, again, it has to do with this idea of being a little tired all the time. But I don't see anything drastically wrong. It's just, realize that, you might have a little less energy and do whatever you can to, create more energy. Thanks very much for calling.
Okay, thank you, and thank you to Wilma. For Debbie and for Elise, we will get to you momentarily. We are talking to Mary Michele on Meet the VIPs. If you have a question about astrology, we do have one open line now, 241-1310. Back with your questions for Mary Michele in 1 minute.
That's right. Due to popular demand,
it's a sellout.
Cabin Fever is bringing back more of the original Little Rascals.
If we don't get ours, you'll get yours.
Don't worry, there are 9 more volumes, 36 more episodes. There's lots more, including some episodes that haven't been seen in decades.
Yowza! We want some more stories. We want some more stories.
you'll see all your friends.
I know what Chubby is. Daddy, you be seated for me? Sure I will. Want me to change the oil, too?
It's the Rascals just like you remember them. Back on home video for good.
I'll never play hooky again.
From Cabin Fever Entertainment, of course.
Right.
And available at your local Blockbuster in Mount Kisco. And we're back on Meet the VIPs with Mary Michele, taking your calls on astrology at 241-1310. I have a quick question. Mary Michele, last week we were talking about the 22nd of July being a convergence of everything. And you had mentioned, I'm not sure to which of our callers this morning, that the 22nd of August, there were a lot of things happening. Is the 22nd one of these days that everything seems to happen?
Well, last month it was very much about this grand trine in water. For the person that called previously, it was because that was when the sun was going to move on. It wasn't necessarily about...
So it's not that, because I was wondering if the 22nd's like the 13th, you don't do things just, in your high.
No, there's just a shift.
Okay, let's get on the phones now with Debbie, watching on Cable Channel 12 from Yorktown Heights. Date of birth, August 24th, 1953. Good morning, Debbie. You're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning, Debbie.
Morning.
Did you have a particular question?
Yes, this past year has been a lot of changes, and I'd like to know what I still keep going through changes.
Let's see. You have the sun in Virgo and the moon in Pisces. There's a push-pull with the sun-moon opposition like that. It's like you're always being forced to examine your unconscious. It's always coming up over and over again. And, Virgo's an analytical sign, so this is someone, you would be someone that would want to have, to a certain degree, a look at this kind of thing. But it can be a little demanding to have it happen on such a regular basis. You have Mercury in Leo, Venus in Cancer. I'm sorry, what was the particular question?
As far as the changes over the past year, as far as the astrology, and I have had so many changes.
Right. Well, I think again that it peaked, maybe 3 months ago. And I think the month of August is a time when lots of new ideas are going to come to you. You have a Mercury-Mars. Mercury is the mind, Mars is the energy conjunction. They're in the same place in the sign of Leo, same degree. So you're going to have lots of new ideas and have energy to go with them as of the, 1st of August, and particularly when Jupiter goes direct, which will be on the 2nd. So, you have to have a little faith in your ideas. You have to take the initiative and say, okay, my ideas are good ideas. So just, do that. Know that your ideas are good and that you will be having new ones, and that you won't feel as much pushed by the wind and other people's desires and so on. Okay, thank you very much for calling.
Okay, thank you. Let's get on line 4 now to Elise, watching on Cable Channel 12 in Armonk. Good morning to you. Date of birth, February 1st, 1961.
Good morning. Did you have a particular question?
Yes, actually I've been through major recent changes in my life, and I'd like to know about job and health.
Okay, you also have this opposition of the sun and the moon, different signs though. You have much more energy with it right now. The sun in Aquarius, the moon in Leo, Mercury in, Mercury changed signs that day. It's either Aquarius or Pisces. Let's see. In terms of your work, do you work with? Do you do something of service? Do you work with people in an area of service? Do you take care of people somehow?
Just my children. No, I'm not working at all right now.
Well, that's a lot. Did you work in that area?
No.
I'm sorry?
No, I did not.
No. What was the kind of work that you were in?
Receptionist.
Reception.
Well, actually, no, I was a waitress, if that's what you're talking about. Serving people.
Well, yeah, that could be. That wasn't exactly what I had in mind, but it could be. I think the thing is that you need to work with people somehow. You're very astute at. Are you looking to get a job? Is that what you're asking?
September.
In September.
Yes.
Yeah. I think you need to think about it in terms of working with the public. You know, you need to either be working, you know, in a hospital or working, you know, with a group of people in a, you know, a restaurant is good, working, I don't know, police department, something like that. I mean, you're very good with concepts and ideas, and I think you need to be open to the public and to people and work with them. Thank you very much for calling.
Okay, thank you. And we do have one open line at 241-1310. Mary Michele, you have a listener out on Long Island. Her name is Nancy. April